The kind of leaders we have in Africa sometimes looks like they are all the same. A leader will come in and you think that that leader, because he is young, he is of today's age and time, he will do great things for his people. But a few years into his term, and then you realize that he is the same, if not worse, than the previous ones. Can you imagine that the president of Liberia left the country and went to Qatar? And he is there trying to what? Cheer up his son who is playing for another team. So there was this article I saw online about a senator who is trying to prop the president about his travel to Qatar because the senator doesn't understand why the president has to stay out of the country this long. So he said that there should be a prop to really understand why is he stay in Qatar and what is the purpose of him staying in Qatar. The headline reads, Senator Delian seeks probe into President Weah's travels to Qatar World Cup. Senator Ibrahim has written plenary of the Liberian Senate demanding an investigation into President George Weah's prolonged stay out of the Republic of Liberia to attend the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. According to the senator, President Weah's request to the Senate that he was extending his trip because the Paris Peace Conference has been extended is untrue, arguing that the conference had ended already. In a communication with the president, the lawmaker asks, with the concerns raised herein, we are left with the question as to how President Weah's prolonged stay out of the Republic of Liberia at the 2022 World Cup Games in Qatar are necessity and beneficial to the best interest of the country and people, and with whose expense we therefore respectfully seek the intervention of plenary of the parliament to launch a probe into these claims and to take appropriate necessary actions in their premises. It can be recalled that on November 1st, 2022, President Weah informed the august body of the planned visit to the state of Qatar from November 15 to 23 to attend the opening of the FIFA World Cup according to the president's letter to the Senate. He would attend the 5th edition of the Paris Peace Forum in Paris from November 9 to 15 before traveling to Qatar. The president, however, on November 18, informed the Senate that he would extend his stay in Qatar by 7 days and depart on the 30th instead of the 23rd of November. The president's letter further stated that the extension became necessary because the Paris Peace Forum was extended from November 15 to November 18, thereby causing him to arrive in Qatar at least 3 days behind schedule. By such justification, by such By such justification, President Weah argued that because the extension of the Paris Peace Forum caused him to arrive in Qatar at least 3 days later, he would spend 7 days in Qatar to make up for the extra 3 days he claimed to have spent at the Paris Peace Forum. So you can hear the whole story, right? A president who is supposed to be governing his country, a country that has been facing a number of problems: inflation, poverty, starvation, hunger. You would think that a president like Weah will be back home trying to fix all these problems, try to find solutions to all these problems that his people are facing. But he is flying from one country to another and spending taxpayer money. He was in Paris, and let's say, for example, the Paris Peace Forum was extended for 3 days. Now he wants to balance up the 3 days he spent in Paris, Qatar. So who is going to pay for the 3 days he's going to spend abroad? And how does his stay abroad benefit the country? These are the questions people need to be asking. If someone who loves his country, he will not go and spend days abroad, taking into consideration how much it costs to be abroad. He needs to pay for where the plane will park at the airport in Qatar. He needs to pay for a hotel that he's going to stay in Qatar, including his staffs and personal security. You can just imagine how much it's going to cost taxpayer. And how does this even benefit the common Liberian? How does it benefit that common person in the street? And the whole story is very sad because when Weah came to power, people had hopes. People thought he was going to be better. People thought that Liberia has gone through serious troubled times, and Weah was the man who was going to fix things for people. People were happy to have him. People thought that he was going to be different from common politicians because he was never in the political arena. He was a professional footballer. So people thought that since he was an outsider just coming in, he was going to come in with something new. He was going to look after the common person in the street. He was going to be fair and just. He was going to do the right thing for all Liberians. But to people's shock, he has proven to be no different from other politicians. Was it a few months ago, some of his closest aides were being sanctioned for bribery and corruption? You can see how corrupt his inner cycle is. You ask yourself, what is he doing in Qatar for 7 days? What is he doing in Qatar for 7 days? He's there hanging out with his son. And do not get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with him going to spend time with his family. There's nothing wrong with that. But you all must remember, he is the head of a country. It is his job to run a country. He cannot leave the people starving and broke and jobless, and he's abroad spending time with his son. And those same poor and broke people who have nothing to eat are the ones funding his trip abroad. The 5-star hotel he is going to stay in will be paid for by the ones who don't have anything to eat. We pay for by taxpayers. The security, the feeding, and everything will be covered by the Liberian government, which is taxpayers' money they are going to use on it. You see, we Africans, we always have leaders like that, leaders with mispriorities. It's common in Africa. It's like our main brand. Poor leaders in Africa or poor leadership in Africa. It's like the brand of Africa, because the leaders, no matter what you thought about them, they will always prove you wrong. Some of them, if you even thought of giving them the benefit of the doubt, they will still prove you wrong. You see? So my brothers and sisters in Liberia, what do you think about this story? What do you have to say about your president, Mr. George Weah, spending time abroad when there is serious problem back home? When the people are suffering, when the people are starving? What do you think? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Thank you for watching this video, and like always, see you in the next one. Cut.